Sooner Scoop HD.
TCU game, and I was just super impressed. They were up 20. Elite shooting team. They made 13 threes that game and shot 45% against what I think is a extremely good defense at TCU. They're long. I don't think they start anybody under 6'4". I know this transfer portal, I think, changes a lot of things in college basketball. All of a sudden, teams, you get some additions, and they did. I think they do a really nice job spacing the floor. They really space you out. They got a really good point guard who goes downhill, and I see a team that doesn't have fear. I think that, I was just really impressed with them, watching them on versus TCU.
Go Jesse next.
Porter, you talked after the game about really needing to develop a secondary ball handlers outside of Grant. This game Friday, these next few games, do you kind of just have to throw some of those guys out and see what they can do in terms of developing that?
Well, Bijan's got a year under his belt. I know he got a concussion, and he's fine. He's cleared from that, but he's getting back in the swing of things. So, and then Los was in the mix. He got a lot of minutes, and especially when Grant was cramping. When Grant started cramping, Los had some key minutes in a tight game. So, we got to keep developing those guys. Keep getting better. But that is something. But overall, the biggest thing is you got to understand how to close out a game. What's a good possession down the stretch? We forced 3 threes, my opinion. And that's not even my opinion, that's fact. Down the stretch when you didn't need it. You don't need a 3 up 14 with 25 on the shot clock. And that's the thing that it starts with me teaching and having to understand what do you need. Grant was out, at certain points, and you need good possessions and you need stops. We had the opposite. We didn't have good possessions and we didn't get stops. And give the kid credit. They get 4 or 5 threes in that stretch, or overall the second half there. And that's what we got to take away. That loss can't go in vain. You gotta can't get it back, but you can go forward going, this is why it happened. We're a 14-point lead, and you need good possessions. You don't need 3 possessions of quick threes in a row. You're up 14 with 5, 6 left, and that's the mentality. We want a good possession. We had a good possession. You'll see me in it. We shot fake, went downhill. With 9 on the shot clock, CJ took a 3 at the top of the key, missed it. That was a good possession. That's different than throwing it to our format and shooting a 24-footer with 25 on the shot clock. It's two different possessions. You're not going to make every shot. That's not what a good possession is. Good possession is, down the stretch, is did you run clock? Did you get something? Did you put them in a situation? And that's what we got to take from that game, especially from that point on down the stretch.
We'll go to Bob next.
Yeah, Porter, what is the mood Wednesday of practice, and how important is it from this point forward, like the leadership to be player-driven to try to bounce back?
Yeah, it's the mood. To start with your first part of the question, there was a lot of different emotions in there. It was they were upset. They were hungry to get back going again. I like that this team didn't want to have to take it off, but we had to take a day off on Tuesday. I like that they didn't want to. They were back in there. They were hungry, mad, hungry, and receptive. Receptive to what we talked about. What was the second part of your question?
Just how important it is for the leadership and
Yeah.
player-driven.
I've said it a long time. When you have player-driven leadership, that's the ultimate culture in your locker room. Our coaches are going to lead. We're gonna teach. We're gonna hold standards. We're gonna come back. It's one game, can't get it back. But basketball's a long season. With that kind of positivity, that where we're going forward. But when you got the players driving that, that's even better. And I was pleased with that. I thought Tanner, Jalen, I think the guys took accountability, and they went and practiced, with an edge moving forward. It wasn't this blanket of sadness or despair. It was more of an edge of getting better, what our standards are, what do we expect, how do we, learn from what just happened.
Go to Eli next.
Went back and did a little math, and all your teams that you've had, only 4 before this one had lost an opening night game, and as you say, it's a long season. But what particular kind of wake-up call can a night one loss like that be after all the work of the preseason and everything that comes with it?
Yeah, I didn't think this team needed a wake-up call. I think this team needs to understand when you get all these new guys, like, what did you need to do to win the game? Or there's reasons why you win and why you lose. We lost that game on having bad possessions down the stretch. Not because we missed the shots. We had a layup at the end, we could have made it. We went, on the foul. That's not why. We had 4 or 5 quick shots, turnovers, to where if you have a good possession, that game shortens. That game is shortened, and it doesn't come to a 3 with 1 second left, because it was short, because you had good possessions up 14. So it's not a wake-up call. It's just more. I thought the guys were urgent in practice. I thought they didn't take Sam Houston lightly. They knew how physical they were. I think it was a draining game. Grant started cramping, but we haven't simulated someone literally denying Grant the ball for 40 minutes. They denied him the ball everywhere on the court. You've got to work so hard, and I think that was draining. So we came out with some, and I'm disappointed as anybody that we had to take a loss to learn how to do some possessions. But wake-up call, I think wake-up calls are for teams that don't play hard, teams that aren't together, teams that looked at an opponent and didn't respect them. We respected everything about the opponent. We prepared like that way. We didn't get it done. Starts with me, and then we start widening. Everybody has to take some accountability, and that's what that loss can't go in vain for. And it's not going to. I know the way we're going to respond. I know the way. It's a long basketball season. We have a top schedule in the country. We're going to have many opportunities. Am I disappointed? Hell yeah, I am. And I'm eager to play again against a very good team, Pine Bluff, who literally played unbelievable against TCU. And so our focus has to be going forward, not backwards with that.
Go to Jason next.
Porter, after the game, you talked a lot about finding guys that can play downhill in the lineup. I'm just curious, what adjustments have you made going into the game against Arkansas Pine Bluff for that?
No, it's a good point, going downhill. I think sometimes when we play Grant and Bijan together, or Grant and Los, it gives you another guy. I think CJ Nolan could be that. We talked to CJ about, we went downhill, we just didn't make good decisions. We just went downhill and barreled through them. We had 4 or 5 charges. We had 4 or 5 charges. So we're looking for guys to be able to start the domino. The other takeaway is they had 21 more shots than us. Analytically, that should be like a 20-point loss. I told our team, if we go red versus white in practice, and I tell you the white team, you get to take 21 more shots before red takes a thing, then you guys can start. You'd be like, Coach, there's no way we're going to, They had 21 more shots. Why? 21 turnovers. All of a sudden, we were sped up. We were trying to do it all ourselves. That's not the way we're going to play. That's the way we haven't played. And so we need some guys downhill, kick it, do what we do offensively, start the domino. I've said that term a lot. But I think guys that are capable of that. I think Grant, Los, and Bijan are very good passers. CJ has got to be a guy that makes good decisions when he gets to the paint. And that's another big comment right there that I would say is I always tell guys when I recruit them at guards, everybody wants to play at the next level. And I had a scout tell me about 5 years ago, he said, we evaluate guards on what they do when they get to the paint. Can they make good decisions? Can they make the pass? Can they finish? And we did not do good getting to the paint. We got to the paint and made horrible decisions. Threw up 1-on-3 shots, charged, missed the open guy. We got to do better going downhill and doing paint decisions.
Any additional questions for Coach? We'll go back to Bob.
Signing period started Wednesday. There's probably still work that you want to try to get done there. How different did this year feel in terms of trying to build a class compared to what you had to do last year?
I think the early period's so different nowadays just because the portal is in the spring. I think from here on out, early signing period is going to be, you're still trying to get some top young guys to build in your program, and then the year's over, and all of a sudden the transfer portal's there. So I don't think it's any different. I still think you try to get some really top young guys to build in your program. But I think that the spring one is what's different nowadays.
Go to Jesse next.
You've talked about it a little bit. I'm sure you would have liked the team to shoot a little bit better than they did on
Fair
Tuesday.
Fair statement.
But did you like the caliber, the quality of the shots you got?
No.
Or
No, especially in the last 7 minutes. I thought we, and even earlier, right out of the first play of the game, if you look back at the tape, we drove it to the paint and shot a running floater with 3 bodies, when if you push pause, there's 3 guys in the perimeter. We talk about paint touch threes, that's what I mean. Drive it to the paint, you're gonna draw, then you gotta kick. And so, I didn't. I was really displeased. I thought we'd been sharing it, moving it, and then all of a sudden, game 1, some different things set in. And that starts, with me on that, explaining that. We talked at length in our Wednesday film session about that. I think we settled for okay to bad shots when you gotta be getting good to great shots. I thought we settled, and especially it was not happy. We had a couple good possessions where we moved it, we ran a little action and had a second side, hit Lowe's drove baseline, made a layup. We took some time off the clock, we got them shifted and everything. We gotta get to the foul line more. We were in bonus, and you gotta get to the foul line more with the lead. You don't settle for jump shots when you have a lead and in the bonus. That's all on me to continue to teach that. I was surprised that we went backwards with that based on what we did in the 2 scrimmages, or the scrimmage and the exhibition, and being overseas. And that's what was disappointing, that we went backwards in the assist to turnover. 6 assists, I know you said you look back and think, I want to know when the last time our team had 6 assists. I'd be interested in that.
Piggybacking on Bob's question, last April you added Luke kind of on the later side of that spring window, and you mentioned how different it is now. Did you learn anything there, what you can still do in the high school recruiting for the incoming year after that portal process?
Yeah, I think, I do think nationally, some high school kids that have good senior years have smaller opportunities, because I think so many teams are looking at the portal late. That's why I think the parity of college basketball right now is insane. It's so good, the parity, because this is the last round, I think, of COVID years. So you're getting 5th-year transfers, you're getting older guys that have been there, guys that are on their last thing, in their 5th year, transfer eligible right away. And I think high school guys that have a great senior year that, maybe some people weren't signing as many high school guys early. I think those guys get hurt, but I still think there's some very good players out there. Some very good players out there that you have to continue to watch and see how they develop. But I do think that there's a wide range, and I can just see if there's a lot of parents listening to me right now with the son going, yes, that's happening. Our son's not getting as much opportunity. It's so true, because there is a lot of focus on getting older portal guys late, that the window of opportunity for young high school guys has shrunk.
Porter, I just wanted to ask you about some injury updates. Was there any injuries following the game?
No, Grant's fine. He obviously cramped. We've been doing a lot of liquids and bananas and all the treatment you do for cramping. Didn't cramp yesterday, feels fine. It was just, it was first game, I know, and you got to give Samuel some credit. They denied him everywhere, and I thought he did some really good things against that. For the first game out with that, but everybody else came out of it, no injuries.
Sooner Scoop HD.